Catch Sports Wrap tonight at 6. Later, it's the experts on specials at 7. Right now, you've got JR Afternoon with Ryan Ermani on 760 WJR, a brand new trusted voice on the great voice of the Great Lakes. Now, here's Ryan.
Rolling along on a Monday here in the city of Detroit, high atop the Fisher Building. We are having some fun. Lions not so much on Saturday, but they did come away with perhaps finding more who their backup quarterback will be. Lions lost to the Dolphins in preseason action over the weekend, 24-17, but Kyle Allen with another solid performance. Nick Lundberg, WJR Lions reporter, in studio with us now. And Nick, it does feel like Kyle Allen has separated himself from Hendon Hooker in the battle for that backup spot.
Definitely. We saw that on, like you said, on Saturday against the Dolphins, first preseason game at Ford Field of the preseason. And Kyle Allen had a really good first half, couple big touchdowns, one to a guy we've been talking to about this whole preseason training camp, Isaac Tesla. He's just made play after play, turning heads everywhere. Anyone who watches him can see that, he's going to get some real minutes in the NFL season. But him and Kyle Allen built a real nice connection, especially growing on Saturday. But Hendon Hooker struggled again, was leading the drive to tie the game near the end within the final minutes, got to the red zone, but ultimately made a mistake throwing an interception. It was a really nice play by the Dolphins defensive back, to be fair, but that's just a play you can't make, especially when you're battling for that second QB spot, with especially as how well Kyle Allen's been playing so far. And just another, not below average performance from Hooker and Kyle Allen, like you said, kind of making that step up in the backup quarterback battle.
For the personal side of things, I do feel bad for Hooker. I think so many people here in Detroit, me included, wanted him to succeed because, again, if it wasn't for the injury in his final year at Tennessee, Hendon Hooker would have been a top 10 pick in the first round of the NFL draft. He got hurt at Tennessee, became a third-round pick, kind of I wouldn't even say a Hail Mary, but more of a developmental pick by the Lions in the third round. You really had nothing to lose by taking him, and it just hasn't seemed to work out. And like you said, you cannot throw an interception in the red zone late in the fourth quarter when you're down by a touchdown.
Exactly, especially when it's that QB battle is so close. And we know Hendon Hooker's got the traits. He's got, the legs and the speed to make plays on the ground with his legs. And he's got the arm talent to find receivers deep down the field like we saw at Tennessee before that injury. And he was going to be a Heisman candidate that season as well. And so he was no slouch of a pick, but it just seems like the game is a little bit too fast for him still. He's, his feet aren't set most of the throws he makes. It looks like he's overthinking a lot, and the game just isn't coming easy to him compared to a guy like Kyle Allen who has played in the NFL for multiple seasons and has that experience and knows, what to do in those certain types of situations. And Hooker's been in the program for a couple years now, so it seems like he still needs a little bit more time and more reps to kind of figure that spot out, but, he's a bit older in age when it comes to being still on a rookie contract, and the time is kind of running out on him at this point.
So you look at Kyle Allen, 14 of 17, 124 yards and 2 touchdowns, including the one you mentioned, Isaac Tesla. I think that's how you say his name. I'll learn it sooner rather than later. But it does feel like Allen not so much is winning the job from Hooker because, again, he is winning the job from Hooker. But it does feel like if, heaven forbid, Jared Goff had to sit for a game or 2 or 3 or 6, maybe, just maybe, Allen would keep you in the game long enough to give you a chance to win. And I think for any team in their backup quarterback, that's all you're really looking for. Does this guy give you a chance to win? And I think we're getting that answer from him, and that answer is yes.
Yeah, I don't think it's ideal situation for him
100%
to go out on the field in case the unfortunate case that Jared Goff does get injured, but he does seem to be capable of making things happen with the second unit as we've seen over the past couple of games. And the Lions backup quarterback situation ever since Dan Campbell stepped in, has never really been the best. You've seen guys when they were losing games more than winning games a couple years ago, like Tim Boyle, Jeff Driscoll. Those guys, were nothing special. And Hendon Hooker, you had some hope with him, and now he's not really showing you much, so to say, right now. But at least Kyle Allen looks to be that kind of guy who can come in and settle the team, kind of like Teddy Bridgewater did in the playoffs last year when Goff had sat down for a couple plays and he, handed the ball off and did his thing. But at least it seems like they've got someone capable in the case that Goff goes down.
Let me ask you about Jackson Meeks. 11 catches, 176 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I never heard of Jackson Meeks before this week. Is that just a nice game from him, or does he have a chance to make the team?
He's been making some plays in training camp and other preseason games. He had almost 100 yards last week with a touchdown, and he's becoming a pretty favorable target for Kyle Allen and Hendon Hooker. And he's kind of in that Dominic Lovett type spot, the slot receiver who's probably going to make his way on the team if he does through the special teams role and then build from there. But it's always nice to see guys in that 5th, 6th depth role make plays against players who, are fighting for the same position on the other side, on the other teams. And it's always, gives you confidence if you're a coach of the wide receivers to know that if someone goes down, like if we talked about Goff going down, maybe Jameson Williams or someone like that, or Tim Patrick goes down, you've got a guy who can step in and, has experience, but not the experience you want, but at least he can do some things if you need him to.
All right, let's get to the bad side of that game. It looks like Ahmed Hassanin is going to be out for a while.
Yeah, very unfortunate. He was having a great training camp all August long. He was just a delight to talk to. He's always bubbly. He's always bringing the energy.
He was the 7th round pick? Was he a 7th round pick, something like that? Late round pick?
Yeah, 6th round pick.
6th round pick.
And he, with Hutchinson and Davenport has had health issues, and it looks like if, Hutchinson and Davenport, if one of them got injured, he would be in line to kind of slide in there and make some plays. But now he seems like they don't really have a timetable for his injury, and it was a pectoral issue, and it seems like he's going to miss a majority of the season, if not all of the season, according to Campbell's press conference this afternoon.
The last guy that I remember that had a pec issue with the Lions was C.J. G.J. A couple of years ago. He got hurt in that second game of the year and then came back and played, I think, in the playoff game perhaps, but that was almost an entire season, and he was a veteran. For a rookie, it's probably you're going to be out for the whole season.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate, especially for a late-round pick that's still kind of trying to figure out his way onto the team. He was having, like I said, a promising training camp, a promising preseason, was making plays here and there, and it's just unfortunate, something that he's going to have to work back from. But it seems like he's got that energy and that, grit, as we all love to say about him, that can make the bounce back somewhat doable.
Well, it's interesting to see what they're going to do here, Nick, because Pascal's down for a little bit. Muhammad is out now for a little bit, Hassanin is out for a little bit. And you never know what's going to happen with Marcus Davenport. He's, hasn't been reliable. Ali McNeil, we won't see till October. Could this be a situation? And I know Trey Hendrickson is out there right now on the market. He came to a contract impasse with the Bengals, and he is on the market. It's interesting to see if that's a guy you take a look at or if you just take your chances with what you got. Check him out on WJR.com. Nick Lundberg. Thanks, buddy. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Ryan.
Hey, coming up next, it's a Men's Health Monday. Dr. Michael Lutz is in the house. We'll talk to him about guys in their cars, and I'll ask a question about my ribs. All that and more next. This is 760 WJR.